Hello and welcome to this instalment of Talkin Trim. I'm Jonathan Skinner and today we are looking at the dash area for the Triumph TR6. Now all of the parts in this video are actually common to the TR5, TR250 and TR6, but the cars that these actual parts have come out of are TR6s, just FYI. We've got two car sets worth. We've got a Parchment Cream Smooth Leather, which is out of a Right-Hand Drive TR6 from a UK customer. And then we have a bright red grained leather kit, which is from a Left-Hand Drive TR6 from a customer over in America who's actually sent us quite a lot of his stuff to be trimmed, including the actual dashboard, the two sets of seats, because you can't decide between aftermarket ones and originals, so we're doing both for him, and then obviously all the other elements you can see here. Now, what we're going to be talking about in this video is not just the parts that you can see here, but what we can offer in terms of the different options and also how they originally left the factory. Now, generally speaking, we offer retrim kits for these parts. That is parts cut to shape, sewn if and where applicable, for you to retrim over the original units. And that, to that end, what I mean by that is we're talking about all of these parts here. So you got the dash top there, which are those pieces. You got the lower crash pads there and there, which are obviously these pieces. You got the switch plinth in the middle there, which is this one here, and then you got the H-frame support bracket, which is this part here, which are these parts here. So generally speaking, we supply material to retrim over the top of your original units, and you are literally going over the top of the original black plastic. So originally they were metal frames, then they had a sort of foam base to them and a black unbacked unsupported plastic, as you can see here. And all we do is make covers that go literally over the top of the black plastic. You're not peeling any of it back, you're going over the top of them. The only thing you need to be mindful of is making sure that you prep the existing black plastic, so you might need to do a bit of repair work, shall we say. You might need to fill it in. I have done other videos showcasing this, both the retrim kits and the kits before they get redone, so worth checking that out at the end of this video. But generally, as a rule of thumb, that's what you got to do. You got to prep them, but then you literally go over the top of them with the new materials here. Now, as I say, both of these kits are actually been done in leather. We can offer it in vinyl or leather, and depending on the parts, we can offer it with no stitching or with top stitching. Both of these kits have top stitching, and by that I mean, you can see here, got a lovely double stitch seam going across the contour of the dash there, and then same with these lower crash pads here. They have a contour seam going round them there. Items such as the switch plinth and the H-frame, there is no choice. You have to have stitching as part of it. It's impossible to trim it the way we do it without some stitching applied to it. But the dash top and the lower crash pads you can have without stitching. It's my personal view, you should go with stitching. It looks absolutely lovely, and it kind of ties it all in as well with obviously the H-frame and the switch plinth there. Just to go over the kind of bits and bobs, I'm sure you're all very familiar with the dash tops, but that's the original unit, trimmed all the way around. You have a bit of excess which gets lost underneath the windscreen. These are the slits for the demisters. That's a slit for the ashtray, I believe. Then for the lower crash pads, there are actually two different versions depending on steering wheel locks, and you can see there, perfect example. The bright red's obviously a left-hand drive, and that's the recess in the crash pad to allow for that there. The actual sewn material kit doesn't differ between the this version and this version. They're both exactly the same, so it's easy enough to use that kit to trim both versions. Not to be confused with the TR4, TR4A version, which had a grab handle. That's a completely different cover and much more complicated. But in terms of those, it doesn't matter whether you had the steering lock or not. The kit works for both of them. Switch plinth, it's a nice example as well. Actually, they had two different versions. The shape was the same, but the number of holes was different, varied between 5 and I think went down to 4. Either went up one or down one. I'm fairly sure it went down to 4 off the top of my head. And oh yeah, there we are, perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4. whereas that one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Nice. So again, the kit doesn't change in terms of that. You have a two-piece kit for the Switch Plinth. It's basically the sewn surround, as you can see it there. You can see the join just in the middle there, and then you have a separate piece that gets plugged into the back there. As a general rule of thumb, we don't tend to trim out the holes, as it's very easy for you to pierce just a very small hole for you to get whatever element it is on the Switch Plinth that you need going through there, and it means that the trimming work doesn't have to be as thorough and neat in that area, because you just need to get the component through, as it were, on there. So just bear that in mind. Then the H-frame, I've done plenty of videos showing these here. These are, like I say, TR6 ones. The earlier cars didn't have this ridge on it, but the cover itself is exactly the same. Really nice covers, these. I love them. You see a few different variants in terms of other people have tried to make kits that cover these, and in my opinion they don't look as nice, but we love doing these and we sell a lot of them. With the kit, we sell obviously the material cover, which is a one-piece sewn kit with the top stitching on it, but we also include foam in there, and the reason we include foam in there is for kits with the H-frame is perhaps a bit worse for wear, and you might need some foam to pad it out to make those dents and divots that aren't that repairable a bit more manageable when you come to the trimming element of it. But in an ideal world, as we've done with both of these kits, is we've just glued directly on to the original black plastic frame, and we haven't actually used any of that foam, but we do provide foam just in case, so bear that in mind. As you can see, really nice job on these. There is a process to it, and we're more than happy to help and guide. There's certain areas that are a battle, and so you have to basically prioritize the areas that are on show and work some sort of materials and mess to other areas where it's not going to matter. One of them being, it's not really that messy, but you get an air gap there, but it doesn't matter because that's where it's bolted through onto the floor, so you just want to make a little hole to get the bolt through, but ultimately that will be covered by the front floor carpets anyway, and so it doesn't matter. And this is what I mean when I say pick your battles. Just think about logically where it all goes in the car and act accordingly. I think that's about it, really. You can see here, this is obviously the old foam, and that slots into that element there. So again, we don't trim over those edges there because it all gets lost inside here, as you can see. Yeah, it's good that we had this framework here actually, because it's allowed us to kind of dummy put it on and just show you how it all looks when it's in the car. So it looks really nice, as you can see. That element of things there. Obviously, same sort of thing that I've said before with our kits. Obviously, if they're leather, we do skive down as standard, which is the process of thinning leather down to make it more applicable and pliable to certain parts. Also, when it comes to trimming, yes, you can trim these with effectively no specific tools. You do need a good contact adhesive, a paste-on adhesive. Again, we can help you and direct you with which ones to use on that. But again, things like heat guns and steamers and hair dryers are useful tools to have around. This is how we manage to get such good finishes on these sorts of things, because we have all of the correct tooling. So with these sorts of things, we are encouraging people to make use of our experience and perfectionism, should we say, in terms of these bits and bobs. So anyway, hope you found that useful. Please remember to like, subscribe and share with other classic car enthusiasts out there, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.